What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony, joined as always by Anthony and Nate.
Hello, hello, Nate. How you doing?
What up?
Nice.
Ooh, I love the energy.
What's on your mind?
We'll get to that. Yeah, that was good energy. I like that. I'm just gonna start pausing there and being frozen until you guys talk. This is we go hard. We go hard every week. We put episodes out every week. We work 24/7. We work 25/8. We work 26/9, baby. This is what we do week to week.
You on the bench, we in the trench, baby.
Yes, yeah, we absolutely are, and that's a place I want to be week to week with you too, for sure. I enjoy doing this so much. I enjoy conversations like this so much. We had a blast. As Anthony's going to tell you right now, this band is a band that is, right in the Venn diagram. Drink.
Okay. You said it. I said it and you said it. It means it has to happen.
They're pulling more people under the tent. Drink. In real time, I had so much fun. Drink. But yeah, fucking great, man. So much fun.
Stair step band. Drink.
Yep.
So you're not even on the bench no more. You're a mascot. Gridiron was on the podcast. And Tony, you nailed it. Like they are a Venn diagram band for us. And that actually comes up in the episode. We mentioned them. We mentioned bands like E-Town. We mentioned a band like Super Heaven, right? That kind of blends what we love about the 90s and the current. I'd love to know, you guys, what other bands are in that? Like if you took Nate's, what he listens to daily, Anthony, what he listens to daily, Tony, what he listens to daily, in a blender, what bands would come out? I'll tell you, Hum comes out. Who else?
Deftones. We all love Deftones. We all love Rage
Wu-Tang
Against the
comes
Machine.
out somehow.
Yep, Wu-Tang, yeah. There's so many of those in that world. I mean, it's amazing. I saw this the other day, and it's a tangent off of what we're talking about, but somebody was like, it's amazing that there's a whole genre that is just Deftones core. Like, you are trying to be Deftones. You're not trying to be nu metal. You're not trying to be shoegaze. You're trying to be Deftones. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I love that any amalgamation is now core. It's just core.
Yeah, that's another thing too, and that's like Watergate, putting gate after everything. Like, okay, can we come up with a new thing?
So who else, Nate? If you put our interest in a blender,
a lot of the bands we've had on the pod, Zebrahead for one, right?
Yeah.
You go more of the punk, right?
You got the shredder, the punk, yeah. Obviously, Rage Against the Machine will always be kind of pinnacle because it is that hybrid band of so many styles of music with hardcore and hip hop and classic rock with Morello's like Zeppelin influences and whatnot. But yeah, I can't think of one that's as like singular than Gridiron when you really think about it. I think they may be standalone because it's like perfectly even. It's like 25% this, and this, and this. So
and it all works together, right? Like, yeah, I know Anthony texted us about Gridiron like 3 years ago, and I should have listened more then. And I'm always like, oh man, I wish you had told me about that. Well, this is one of those instances where I was like, oh man, I wish I had fucking listened to you because they're awesome.
That was a running joke back in the day.
So you're Nate.
Yeah.
Tony's like, I told you Manchester Orchestra 20 years ago, dude.
We saw them live. Oh, we did? Yeah. The record rep threw a fucking sandal at our buddy. Oh yeah, you're right.
It's funny, like we say that, but like I don't always listen to the like
it's hard
in a literal sense. Listen to it, at least not in the moment. Sometimes it takes like, I guess the punchline is like if you're heavy on a band, you're into a band, make the recommendation
persist
perseverance against all opposition.
Yes, exactly. Just hate breed the shit out of that. Let's go.
But yeah, Gridiron, I love the new record, and by the time this conversation drops, it won't be out, but they will have dropped 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah,
and it is a good representation of the album, and I love it. Like I do think it's a level up. I think the Blue Grape partnership is a good one, and they're doing their own thing, and like that was evident with Loyalty at All Costs, the Despise split with fucking No Good at Goodbyes. Like that was evident, but I think it's even perhaps more evident with this conversation.
Yeah, and we had a great kind of. It was an awesome conversation, but it was also a great creative session. Like a bunch of things came out of this that you're going to hear in the very near future that like trademark, they're Gridirons or they're ours or they're both. Don't even try to take them. It's on the record here, but yeah, we had a lot of fun with a bunch of different stuff. And there's a main connection in there. Like this is a great conversation, and the record's great. I'm excited for people to hear it. It's right up our alley, as we said, and it comes out on May 30th. It's called Poetry from Pain. Blue Grape music. It's a lot of fun. You guys will dig it. If you dig Gridiron, you're gonna dig this conversation. You're gonna dig the record, and I'm happy that you're here because you should be listening to stuff like this because it's way more fun than doing whatever else you were doing before.
Yeah, catch them with Incendiary. Catch them on Furnace Fest. Let's get into it. From Grand Rapids to Boyertown to Portland, Maine. We got Matt. We got Will from Gridiron. Fellas, how you doing? How you feeling?
What's up?
Good, man. Chilling.
Was that the best intro you ever had?
100%. Because we
absolutely
Boyertown right now. That's what
You're from Portland, Maine?
Portland, Maine, baby.
All of us, yeah.
On the map.
All three.
So my dad was in the Navy when I was really, really young, and he was stationed up in Maine. So we used to go up for a week every summer, and some of his best friends live in Bath, which is like pretty close to. Yeah. So Maine holds a special place in my heart. I love that state.
Hell
nice,
yeah,
dude.
We knew
I knew that. That's why I said that. Yeah.
Love a lobster roll, buddy.
Yeah,
I went 2 springs ago. My fiance and I went, and we had a great time. I want to go back for sure.
Where'd you head up?
Where did we go?
We
went
on the spot.
Whatever is like right by the water. There's like a lobster roll, like I don't know, food truck type thing. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
that was fire.
High roller.
High roller,
yeah. They
Nice,
got a brick and mortar now too. That's pretty awesome. Yeah,
it was good. I was very impressed. I like cold with the hot butter. Is that Connecticut style? I can't remember.
Oh, you're speaking to my heart, man.
Yeah, I like that too.
Connecticut gets the best hardcore and the best lobster roll.
And the best pizza.
I'm a warm butter guy over a mayo guy for my lobster.
100%.
There's a place in town that will make like all of the different kinds, and you can get a flight of them. So that's kind of fun. Just get them all.
Like that was like downtown, right? I think we walked past that place too.
It's cool stuff, man. And lobster. I mean, we grew up with it, so I hated it as a kid, but I love it now.
Go Sea Dogs.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It's just the best interview we've ever had.
I've been to a couple Sea Dogs games. Nice. Yeah, we always used to go up we would go up in July because I do a lot of fishing, so we would go up when like the bluefish were running up there. So summertime, so we would catch Sea Dogs games every once in a while.
Nice,
my Sea Dogs hat's in the car. I would have worn that had I known.
We love minor league teams, dude.
We're big minor league team guys.
The Norwich Navigators. What?
We got the West Michigan Whitecaps. That's
nice.
My high A team here in Grand Rapids that goes up through the Tigers. So yeah, we're big minor league baseball band.
Love it.
So guys, Gridiron. It's objectively an all-time name. Like, were you shocked it wasn't taken?
All right, we're gonna get into some deep lore here. So originally, I don't know if you know the history of this band. It was never supposed to do a record or any of what we've done. I'm very proud of what we've accomplished, but that was never what we intended to do. It was literally just like, all right, during COVID, haven't seen the boys in a long time, hadn't gone on tour, gotten out to Philly in a long time, and Carl and I were playing a ton of video games and just doing nothing productive. And he texted me like, hey, you just want to write some songs? We're like, yeah, sure. So we originally were going to name the band Fat Fuck.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man.
With a PH. With a PH.
I love it.
So wait, on both?
Shit,
both
dude.
PH?
Both PH.
Both PHs.
Like Fat Farm style.
Yep, exactly.
Nice, dude.
That was the initial name. And then I remember I sent the first song that I wrote, and the bass player at the time, Jake Abbott, I remember vividly, he said, I'm sorry, the song is too good for this band to be called Fat Fuck.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's so good.
R.I.P. Fat Fuck 2021 to 2021.
Yeah.
So we had to pivot.
So then I don't even remember exactly where the main guy for the guy who sings the Lions fight song in Detroit, his name's Theo Gridiron, and obviously we're huge football fans. And so I was like, man, Gridiron is a sick band name. And I think there was a band from Texas called Gridiron, but we got the name. No one's ever said anything. So here we are, Gridiron.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. We were actually, Anthony and I were in Detroit last fall.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ford Field, baby.
By Ford Field, walk by.
Oh, you went to a game?
Okay. No, they weren't in town that weekend. They were on the road.
At a gift shop, though.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, Ford Field's dope. A couple years ago, the season opened with Eagles at Lions at Ford Field, and the day before that we had a show in Toronto. So we just drove right to Detroit after the show, and we went to the game, which was pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
I went to the Gridiron Bowl. It was 38-35. Eagles ended up winning. That was an electric game, I remember.
Yeah, that was the year the Eagles lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez,
Yeah,
we're in
that's the
good
history on
company
the
here.
Gridiron
This is
name.
great.
Will, you're a Lions fan, I would
Yep.
assume, and Matt, you're an Eagles fan.
Correct.
Were you guys okay that day, or like how'd it go?
Yeah, because the Lions were slowly working towards where like that season was great, and then the seasons after have been great too. But we were still like my mindset was still same old Lions. Like there was no Kool-Aid to really be drank yet. Now we have had some conversations of like NFC Championship, especially this past year. It was like, all right, we're going 0 dark 30. We're not talking to each other for the whole week.
Nice.
Happens. Sadly, did not happen, but likely could in future years. So we'll see how that pans out. But we keep it pretty cordial.
I like it.
Yeah, it
Good.
was week 1. There wasn't too much animosity between us, so it'd be different if it was a playoff game.
Yeah. Then you have to go dark. Yeah, you just like, all right, guys, we'll see you on the other side of this, no matter what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't hanging out that week. No.
I'm quitting the band, right? Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of this.
Nice.
Dude, so speaking of the band name, if it is taken, like someone like fucking sends you a message like, "Yo, that's our name. They're based out of UK or something. Just add a 182 to it, and you'll be good."
Yeah,
You know,
right.
just
Add some numbers.
Just roll with it. Yeah, a number,
Add
parentheses,
an
something like
AD
that.
or something.
We have a running joke about that of eventually one day Carl and I are going to be fighting, and there's going to be Gridiron WK and Gridiron MK.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
We know that'll happen one day.
Yep.
After the
not get
NFC
booked.
Championship game.
Better not get booked in the same city on the same night, buddy.
Talk to my
I'll see you
lawyer,
there.
bud.
So it's well documented you guys started in the pandemic and the whole video game thing. But at least I haven't heard. How did you guys meet? Because Will, you're in the D, right? And Matt, you're in Boyertown.
Yeah,
How did you guys
I'm on
meet?
the west side of the state in Michigan. I had a band called Detain, and we were based out of Grand Rapids, all the guys from Grand Rapids. And we did a tour. What year was that, Carl? That had to be like 2013.
12 or 13.
Yeah. And we played the Nightmare Factory. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
So it was at where Cold Cuts merchandise was. He had like a spot where shows were. And so we played there. And I think that was the first time we like really chilled with all the Philly guys. And we just like instantly connected over sports and essentially being dumb. And we were like, wow, this is like our friend group from Grand Rapids just in Philly now. This is awesome.
Yeah, everyone coexists. It's crazy. It's like we've been friends our whole entire lives, and like the similarities between Pennsylvania and Michigan are just so like they're literally just identical in so many ways. So it was a very flawless friendship. There was no, happened very naturally.
Exactly. It wasn't forced or anything. It was just like, oh yeah, all right. I guess Carl's my best friend now. Cool.
That's
Nice.
awesome, dude. Nice.
What video game were you playing? I gotta know.
Call of Duty Warzone.
I said Call of Duty to you guys
Wow.
earlier, didn't I? Yeah, that was my guess.
Call of
Yeah.
Duty Warzone. We would do these custom matches where we'd have like 20 people and everyone would just be drinking and getting hammered and playing these custom matches and screaming at each other. And that would go on from like whenever work ended until like 4 a.m. And then
Damn.
after like a month and a half, 2 months of that, we were like, wow, this is like, it was fun for the first month. This is just getting like incredibly depressing. I think it was the moment when I lived in this top apartment. I was walking down the stairs with all of my bottles and cans to return them. And I slipped down the stairs and like flew them up like a cartoon.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the exact moment. I was like, man, I got to do something productive here.
Yeah,
Was this
yeah.
peak pandemic? Was that with it?
This is peak
Oh, yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was We were putting in 16-hour shifts on the battlefield daily.
Yes.
It
Wow.
was so good. And we had so many different iterations of ideas of songs, like bands, like these like fake bands would pop up all the time and they'd be like named after places and like drops within the game. And then for whatever reason, this one actually, mainly because of Carl being like, no, I actually want to do this. I was like, oh, okay, I can write some songs. I'm not doing anything else. And that one actually became real.
And you stuck with the name Gridiron versus going with Fat Fuck, which I mean,
Sadly.
yeah,
Probably-
it's
probably
still
a
there
good
though.
move.
Yeah, it's still there though. You could do it down the line, right?
I'm trademarking that shit, guys. Sorry.
I was gonna say we should take that. shit.
Stolen.
Name your
Yeah,
price.
Yeah, name
If
your-
you give us your blessing.
with a Fat Fuck out of Portland, Maine.
That sounds right.
it kind of
Opening
does
for
actually.
Big
Yeah.
Boy. Let's go.
That checks out.
But yeah, so obviously in the moment you probably don't see any of it coming, but a lot's happened. Like you've been able to put out, this will be your second LP, right? An EP before the first LP. Did you see any of it coming at all?
Not really. And that's what makes everything feel so special with this band, is because we were never supposed to do anything. So everything just feels like house money. And like, we've never forced anything. We do what we want to do on our terms. We write the music we want to write on our terms. And, you know, that's what makes everything feel so special, is none of this was planned and none of this is forced.
Yeah. I never expected any of this to happen. It's awesome. Like, I'm super blessed that anybody cares, and we got to have played amazing shows and tour Europe, and you know, it's just been pretty surreal. But at the same time, as it got more serious, we definitely, like with this record, took it a little more seriously from like a songwriting perspective, and I put a little more thought and time into writing songs and collaborating with the rest of the guys. Whereas, you know, the first release was just purely like, all right, this is what we got, cool, just put it out. And then slowly over time, it's become more serious, but like still keeping the ethos of like, yeah, we're just gonna do what we want and just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's really special, because a lot of bands got sucked into the whole, you know, music industry thing before the pandemic, and they're locked into it for basically the legacy of their career. So you guys, in a strange way, the pandemic was maybe like a, you know, true fortune for you guys to be able to be in fully creative control of your stuff.
Dude, it's so weird. Like, COVID, obviously a horrendous time for lots of people, but for myself, purely personally, like, I met my fiance, I have a great band, like some really amazing things came out of it. So it's really weird to like kind of reflect on those couple of years, because a lot of good things in my life that I have now are from that, a really bad time for a lot of people. So it is really strange.
We feel the same way. I mean, we started this thing in the pandemic. I got married 6 months into it. So yeah, a lot of good things happened to us, but like obviously a terrible time for a lot of folks. But it forced us to be resilient and, you know, find people and, you know, work through things. And I know a lot of bullshit happens outside of what we do, but it's cool that you guys are able to put this all together and get to this point. Like it's wild that you're at this point, which is, it's awesome. It's we love it. So we're down for
Thank
it.
you. I mean, it's greatly appreciated, and I don't take any of it for granted. That's for sure.
Matt, you just inspired me. If I ever start a band, it's going to be called House Money.
Oh,
damn, trademark that.
That's a good one. No,
and on the S in house, I do the money sign.
This. We're trademarking this, and then we'll trade you house money straight up.
All right. Damn. All right. He's got us.
So, well, I gotta ask. So, Fat Fuck, your riffs were too good for Fat Fuck. Did you think they were too good for Fat Fuck?
No, I thought they were perfect for Fat Fuck. Honestly,
they're Fat Fuck riffs.
They were Fat Fuck riffs.
Oh, they're thick with 2 C's. Yeah.
The whole idea of the band was just like, I love VFW Beatdown, and I wanted to write Pennsylvania VFW Beatdown. And there's still a lot of that, like, and even up to the new record. But the first demo is very purely VFW fluorescent lit beatdown, because that's what's in my heart and what I love.
Hug the wall, baby. Find a place to hide.
Hug the wall. It's going to be very bright in there. Don't look up.
Large horseshoe.
Yeah, horseshoe. That we kept joking, like, horseshoe. Man, if we ever play a show, I hope there's like 5 people there. Massive horseshoe.
Yep.
Oh man. So did you rap at all before this?
So I've always written rap, like hip hop stuff. I have some stuff recorded that I've never put out. So I've always been like in love with hip hop ever since like a super young age. I had 2 older brothers that like put me onto stuff. Like I was listening to stuff that I was probably way too young to be listening to. And I remember as a kid, I used to put on Power 99, which is Philly's hip hop radio station. And I'm kind of dating myself right here, but I would have like a blank cassette tape. And whenever a song came on the radio that I liked, I'd hit record on my tape player and I'd record the song. So I'd basically like make my own mixtapes from the radio to listen to. So yeah, I've always been in love with hip hop. I've always written hip hop lyrics. I have tons and tons and tons of them. But I never put anything out. I don't know if I ever will. You know, every once in a while I'm like, oh, maybe I should just do, you know, like an EP or something like that, but I don't know if I'll ever do it.
I think there's a House Money mixtape out there.
Yeah, perfect. Podioslave Records, let's go.
Carl, I remember the MATP song.
Yes, I did.
That's what I knew how you were. I was like, oh shit, Carl can actually rap.
Yeah, so I did. So I guess I did put out one song like a long time ago. It was just for one of our friends' bands to use as like an intro, Malice at the Palace. But
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, I've enough lyrics for probably like 10 LPs, rap
Nice.
LPs. Maybe I'll just put them all out at once.
Have you
That's
pulled
sick.
any? Have you pulled any of it for Gridiron? Have you used any of that stuff from, or it's sitting there waiting for something else?
So I have two running notes apps or like running notes in my
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, yeah.
And one, it's like when I'm just like driving around or I'm at work or I'm sitting on the couch and if something pops into my head, I open up my phone and I go, okay, is this a Gridiron bar or is this not going to work for Gridiron? And then that's depends on where I put it, what note I put it in. So, I've taken stuff, that's kind of how I write lyrics is I just think whenever something pops into my head, I just throw it in my phone and then kind of just piece things together or just use like the ideas that I come up with to kind of structure songs.
On that note, do you ever bring up some of those this isn't for Gridiron type stuff and say like, what do you guys think? Like maybe it is. I don't know.
A little bit. Like most of the stuff in like my hip hop notes are like punchlines and like kind of like funny, like maybe a little too like out there for Gridiron. But there's definitely some lyrics in the new record that are punchlines, like on the track Mascot, employee of the month at the bitch store, stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
so I sprinkle it a little bit, but it's a very fine line to walk for a band like that, before you step into like the corny or cheesy lane, so we try to keep that dialed in as much as possible.
It's only corny if you don't know it's corny. If you know it's corny, it's good. It's a pass.
True. Yeah.
That's one thing about Gridiron that I'm really, really happy with and proud of is all of us are just so self-aware. Like we understand this band is not for everyone. Not everyone's going to like this type of music. And, we understand that, what we do is like, it's a little more serious now, but there's definitely tongue-in-cheek aspects of this band. And I think that's what makes this band fun. Like not every hardcore band has to be 100% serious all the time. Like it's all right to kind of, have fun every once in a while.
Hell yeah, man! I love that. What about you, Will? Do you know? I mean, you're pulling double duty here, right? Because you're doing the never ending game stuff too. So, do you know when the riff where it goes?
Yeah, that's a good question. The lines have blurred a little bit, I'd say, between the last never ending game record, Outcry, and with Poetry from Pain from the new Gridiron record. Just because I've been gotten really into like melodic stuff and trying to pull some melodic pieces together. Learned a lot from Metal Mike, who's the other guitar player, Never Ending Game, who's just like total metal guy, super melodic, and learning his songs for Never Ending Game have just kind of influenced me to move more in that direction from a writing standpoint. Obviously, like growing up, played a ton of metalcore and stuff like that, so it's always been like in my blood. But usually, I'll know like what band a riff will go to. It's usually more like I'll listen to what, like, I am not a hip hop guy whatsoever. Carl has to put me on to everything. And I'll just like, if he puts on a song, I'll be like listening to the drums or wherever the beat is. I'm like, oh, that'd be sick if you just like chugged on that. So I'll take ideas for that stuff. And that's how I kind of know, like, all right, that's more of a Gridiron style riff. And then for Never Ending Game, it's like more old school, like I wouldn't do like a Next Step Up style riff for Gridiron. I just kind of like, you can kind of feel it in your bones of like, all right, this is more NEG or this is more Gridiron.
That's funny because Tony, Nate, and I are not musicians. Like we know one lane, which is like we like everything, and on this podcast, everything's on the table. We've talked Tupac, All Eyes on Me, and we've had Chris Link from Cruel Hand on. You know what I mean? It's like all over the place, and there's no boundaries. But like that's kind of cool. You get two outlets where you can, kind of make it happen in both.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I'll show my mom, and she's like, "Yeah, this is all the same thing." Like, she's more aware than most. Like, she is a massive fan of the bands, which is hilarious. Like, she'll post on her Facebook of her like listening to the bands, which is awesome. But she wouldn't be able to be like, "Yeah, I think you were pulling from Cold as Life for this one,"
Amazing. Yeah, it's always good to get support, no matter where it comes from or how it comes from. It's even better when it's family. But yeah, that's awesome.
Without a doubt.
So you guys have a new record coming out soon, man. Next month, right? May 30th?
Yep.
Yeah, May 30th.
Yeah.
And then for, like Juan was just talking about, it's a mix of like pretty much everything we talk about on the pod, which is hip hop, metal, hardcore, all that good stuff. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, is like when I talk about like what riff should go to which band between Never Ending Game and Gridiron. Gridiron is definitely more of like a blender of just death metal, hardcore, hip hop, influences from all over the place. So it's fun to write for. And then, for previous releases, it was mainly me doing a lot of like the songwriting. And now with this record, everybody pitched in, which was super cool. Everyone feels comfortable enough to write and have ideas. And Xavier wrote a bunch of really great songs, the other guitar player in Gridiron. And he's been in a litany of amazing Philly bands and Delaware bands. So he's just an incredible guitar player. It was cool to collaborate with him on some tracks. And we just kind of pulled from all sorts of different wells for this one. Tons of death metal stuff, a lot of Cannibal Corpse, and for the more heavy songs, and then more like big arena stuff, Pantera, Biohazard, Machine Head, for like kind of those big chorus moments and whatnot. So everything just kind of got thrown into a blender, and I'm really happy that it came out. It sounds like NFL street music. That's the main goal for the thing.
No, I'm in.
Yeah.
You had me at NFL Street, NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz, NFL Street, like any non-Madden game, I feel like it's Gridiron.
Yeah, I feel like the coolest thing about this next record that's coming out is it just really showcases like the versatility that we have as a band. Like every song sounds different, than the one before it, and it's kind of just like a roller coaster experience throughout the whole record. And I'm really proud of everyone for putting something together like that, where every song is different, but it all makes sense, and it's all under the Gridiron umbrella.
So I'm curious, like LP2 is always like the pressure record, they say, right? Like LP1 you get your whole life to make, and for you guys it was like you had the pandemic to write it. But like LP2 is when you might have a following, right? You get labels going on. So is there pressure to deliver? Do you care? Like, do you care about that stuff? Or
I would say it depends on my mood on that day. Definitely a sophomore record can be like that make or break record.
For sure.
We did, Never Ending Game 2 years ago now, did our sophomore release. So I was kind of glad that I had one under my belt already, kind of knowing what you can and not what you can and can't do, because we're going to do whatever we want. But it was just good to like have some experience in that world before. But you got to definitely take some chances, because if you make the same record again, it's just like, what's the point? You definitely want to try and go out on a limb a little bit more. And I feel like we did that in a tasteful way. But yeah, it can be scary, especially we're on a new label now, Blue Grape, who's been amazing to work with. And I think having their support and backing has been incredible. And they've allowed us to do whatever we want, but also provide some great mentorship. So it felt good. Like I didn't at any point feel like, this is not the right move. It felt like everything flowed correctly.
Yeah, if any pressure was on, like for me personally, it was pressure that I put on myself just to, I feel like in the first record we kind of paved our lane, and now this record was the opportunity to really like refine the lane that we're in and that we made. And so I pretty much, put pressure on myself to just be better, so there's no outside influence or outside pressure from anyone really. We all had just as much fun making this record as we did the last one. So
that's good.
It's just like inherent pressure of like, oh shit, second LP. Like it's the moment to really like go out on the limb on some things, and I'm proud of what we did. And we listened to the first record a lot. I mean, I know Carl and I had lots of conversations where like, all right, these songs on LP1, they just didn't cut it. We got to do something more like this. And it was just a little bit more thought out, as opposed to LP1 was just like, all right, here's what we got. Cool, let's run with it. And I'm glad that it worked. I'm still really proud of those songs, but there was definitely more thought that went into this record for sure.
Nice. That can be a double-edged sword, I'm sure, right? You don't want to overthink everything and get stuck and be like, well, this is all shit because we've overthought it and put too many bells and whistles on shit. But I don't think you did that here. I mean, we've listened to it. It's pretty dope, but
thank you.
That can be tough. Yeah. You, especially second record, and you're trying to like, you have a following now, right? You've got people who are like, what are they going to do next? I want to know. And I don't want it to be the same, but some people will want it to be exactly the same. Right. So that's tough.
You can't make everybody happy. And like, I've just started to accept that. Playing in bands now and putting out as many records I have now, it's just like, you just learn to accept that you're never going to please everybody. And as long as you're happy with it, that's all you can really do when you go to sleep at night.
So it's a new world. You guys are signed to Blue Grape, which is a relatively new label. Yep. And they're I think Roadrunner?
Correct.
XX, right? And you guys, you were alluding to earlier that you have quite a bit of autonomy. So there's like this kind of perfect merger of like X Roadrunner, huge label at the time, obviously has gone through some tough times over the years from, bands saying they suck and everything that goes along with that. But it seems like a perfect marriage. And you said that they give you almost complete creative control.
100%.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
awesome.
they have, they trust us, and, they let us cook, and, but at the same time, if we have any questions or anything like that, any concerns, they're always there to give their honest opinion, which is, super helpful and great to have, when we need it. But yeah, they are hands off, and they let us do our thing, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, like we had a Zoom. I remember we were talking about like what the hell are we gonna do for the second music video for the mascot video, and somehow it got brought up like, oh man, we should rent like a crazy car or something.
Nice.
And
That was Matt's idea. Come on.
it was 100% Matt's idea. And we got him on the phone, and they were like, "Oh yeah, of course we'll do it." And I was just like, "Okay, this is fucking awesome." So they just
it's sick.
Long leash.
That's a good thing. Yeah, because I mean, obviously we've heard the other side of that can be difficult. But being able to do what you want to do and feel like you have a home somewhere is pretty awesome.
It feels great. Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing.
Triple B has been incredible as well. Like Never in a Game, still Triple B, and still one of our best friends. And it just feels good for this next step for Gridiron. We got some great support with Blue Grape, which has been amazing.
I feel like there's a plethora of that type of label right now, which is a good thing, right? I think we get a lot of good music because we have labels like that, whether it be Triple B or Blue Grape or whatever, but that are out there kind of allowing people to be creative and do their thing, but there to help out a little bit. I feel like we're in a very good spot with that stuff nowadays.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. That balance is vital, and it's there, so it definitely very fortunate to have that.
I remember a couple of years ago, I was listening to the Axe to Grind podcast, and they were like, Gridiron, they were praising you guys, and they were big up on you, and like that, they're like the best band that does this style. So I was like, all right, I got to check them out. So I checked them out, and it happened to be when I was getting in the gym, right? So which is a perfect marriage, right? And I think I texted Nate and Tony, and I was like,
yep.
If bands were stocks, I would fucking put call options on Gridiron.
I remember that. Yeah,
totally. Like I'm all in. Like this is. I mean, I was 15 in the year 2000. Like, of course I'm gonna like this.
Yeah.
So like, I would have been all in on you guys. How did Blue Grape come in?
It just really kind of started naturally through some mutual people. We played some shows that had some really great reactions, and some phone conversations happened, some meetings in person, and we just felt like it was the right move. Obviously, we're all massive Roadrunner, 90s Roadrunner fans. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking Blue Grape Deicide shirt right now, so I am a massive fan of all that stuff, and I love the name, and I liked what they had going on, and when we had conversations, it felt like they'd be able to provide us with what we needed, and really, it was as simple as that. It wasn't like a lot of conversation with us to be like, do we want to do this? Do we want to try and make this a thing, or we just want to keep doing our thing? What we're doing now is great. So there wasn't any pressure on it, or like someone being like, we have to do this, or I'm quitting the band. It just was a very natural progression.
Yeah, it was just another thing with the band that was just totally organic, and nothing was forced, and it, whatever happens. And that's the thing, going back to my point about like everything just feeling like house money, I don't never get too high, never get too low, just kind of go day by day, and whatever happens tomorrow. And I think that's a great mindset to have with not only just this band, but with, everything.
Absolutely.
That was incredible coach speak. You
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. We're dropping 35 in the second half now.
I'm betting the over, baby. I don't bet anymore, but if I did.
On the over. Yep.
Yeah. No wonder the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Yeah, man, that is a good way to think of things, because especially as we age and you get a little more perspective, and good things happen, bad things happen, and you're like, you can't live and die with both, right? You've got to have that kind of, all right, well, this is a challenge that we got to deal with, or things are going really well. How do we keep it going? And that's great. Yeah, 35 in the second half coming up right now.
God, I hope so.
House Money EP, the 35 in the second half EP.
Yes,
track
I love
one.
it.
Track one, bet the over.
Well, I
Yes.
think honestly, if you dial into like your favorite fucking album, Madball, Set It Off, Biohazard, whatever, Urban Discipline, I'd see a poster. that was an accident. Like they did not overthink it.
Exactly.
It was the product of the moment, and I love that. Like, I think it's a common theme. Like, listeners, if you're listening to this, your favorite record was an accident.
I'm so glad you called it out because
yeah,
my very first like records I worked on, I would listen to them and be like, oh man, I really wish I changed this. Or, I wish we did this. And it's like, you can't turn back time. So you just have to, in that moment, it felt right. And that is, like you said, it's just a time stamp in the history of at that time, this is what felt right. And yeah, all the classic records that you love are a complete accident and they happen just because it was a product of the moment. And it's very easy if someone doesn't create music and just listens to music or whatever it is, just be like, oh, that record sucks. It doesn't make any sense. But it's like, well, it made sense to someone at some point. So
right.
Yep.
It took me 40 years to accept that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. There are days I still don't accept it, but I try to. I try to the next day because it's like, all right, yeah, it's okay. Deep breaths, baby.
Set It Off is my favorite record of all time. So
nice.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
Jeez, we might have something about that later. Maybe. So Neverending Game's Outcry was a happy accident. Matt was just chilling in the sofa, and that was the product. Or Will was just chilling on the sofa. That was the product.
100%. Yeah. Just like, this is what came of it. So any record I've ever worked on, it's just been like, yep, this is what made sense in the moment, and we're going to roll with it. And I just don't look back and reflect on things I should have done better or what someone should have done better. Just there's no point in wasting any thought towards that because it's what made sense at the time.
So this is probably going to drop maybe a week and a half before the record actually comes out. But what you guys are probably in the middle of playing shows for it too. So what songs ahead of that right now? What songs are you excited about playing every night?
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of conversations talking about the set because there's some songs we've had in there for 5 years now, which is insane.
Crazy to think about. Yeah.
So we're definitely excited to pump in some new ones. For me, so by the time this comes out, the single would already be out. There's a song called 26-9.
Nice.
That is just like an ass whooper and is going to be super fun to play live and has a huge mosh part. So
yeah, that's probably my pick too.
The set list of 25-8, track 2, and then track 3, 26-9 is going to go crazy. So.
Yes.
It's funny when we got the record in my head, I was like, wouldn't it be something if they had a 26-9 on this record?
You told us that too, yeah.
And sure
Am I
as
that
shit,
predictable? Am I really that predictable?
No, we pay attention. We're different.
We're just nerds.
Can you guess what's going to be on LP3?
2710, baby.
Let's go.
Wow.
And you know what? It lives up to the hype and then some. I texted these guys. I was like, dude, the monster of all monster breakdowns is at the end of this track.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a banger. It's a banger.
Thank you. Yeah, that one is like, I love doing different mosh parts within a mosh part. So it's like, it starts off as one mosh part and then it's the same notes, but just a different version for the second half. And when we thought of that one, I was like, holy shit, this is
Moshception, baby. Let's go.
It's the first blood approach, right? It's you just third degree mosh, right?
You have to mosh on mosh, man. You gotta do it.
Other tracks, and this one is actually out, is Still Playing for Keeps. Whose idea was that?
So growing up, I was obviously a big Limp Bizkit guy and a big hip hop guy.
I am too.
So when I heard Rollin', the Air Raid assault vehicle remix for the first time with DMX, Method Man, and Redman,
yeah,
I thought it was the greatest song ever created.
That's dope. Yep.
So I feel like at that point, there was something in my brain that was like, at some point in my life, I need to make a song like this. And, so that track was a huge inspiration for this song. And, so basically we had a song called Playing for Keeps that is on a comp. And we pulled the guitars from that song and just used them and made a beat out of it. And then, Daniel Son, Pro Dillinger, and Jay Royale are three of my favorite like underground hip hop guys right now. So the fact that they saw the vision and were down, and that track turned out better than I could have ever imagined. I'm so happy with how that turned out. And that's another thing that was, a risk doing something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm very, very happy with it.
I love the placement of it. I love where because it kind of breaks the record up a little bit. it gives you a different flavor, but similar but different flavor for you guys. I'm a big fan of that track myself.
Yeah, that's a point of contention. We went back and forth a lot on the sequencing.
On where to put that. Yep.
Because it was at the end originally, and then this is some inside baseball stuff, but like it was at the end originally, and then over lots of conversations, we landed on it being in the middle. And now I can't imagine the record any other way because it just breaks it up. And as someone who isn't a hip hop art guy, they'll just be like, all right, on to the next one. Whereas at the end, like, we wanted to grab someone's attention, but the people who love it are going to listen to it every single time. So, and I think it'll grow on people if they aren't, because we know that a lot of our fans currently are hardcore guys, and they aren't going to maybe listen to that one. But I think I'm really proud with how it turned out. It turned out amazing.
We were talking pre-show on the fact that you guys would be perfect for the Limp Bizkit Loserville tour that just rolled through the U.S. And if that's, if that guy, Fred, and that band's an inspiration, I feel like those guys would pick you up.
Yeah, give him right here, Fred.
We'll tag him.
Give me a ring, buddy.
Hey, once we wrap up, I'm going to show you guys something that showcases my LB fandom.
Oh,
Can't do it on the record, Twan? What are we doing here? Let's go.
I'll blow your skull.
All right, we'll save it.
So Matt, I saw, I don't know if it was an interview or podcast, but you said like, we want to see how far we can push the envelope on this record. How far do you think you pushed it? And like, what was left on the cutting room floor? Like, was there a Katy Perry song that was like on the cutting room floor?
Secret song.
I had the idea of like maybe doing a track with like a pop singer. I like all kinds of music. So I listen to a lot of like dance music and pop music. So, that was something that I was kind of tossed around that we ended up not doing. You want to push the envelope, but you still want to be yourself. So I feel like we did a great job with raising the bar for us, but still being us. So we'll push the bar more in LP3, and who knows what's going to happen then, but I think we're at a very, very happy medium with this record as far as like trying new things, but not trying too many new things or too like drastic of new things.
Yeah, you're still Gridiron, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a couple of rips that hit the cutting room floor. I was just like, this might be a little too much. I tend to go 150% because then if I get 100% in the end, I still got 100%. So anytime I'd send an idea, I would just make it as insane as possible. And then if it got dialed back a bit, I'm like, this is still what I wanted to do. So
it's funny. I have a lot of crazy ideas that I'll send to Will. And Will always has the same response to me, and it's just a picture of a dude shooting an RPG,
nice.
And that's him shooting
nice.
Down my insane idea.
Oh no!
I know when I see an RPG in the chat that what I said was not going to happen.
I have not sent that in a long time.
That is
I thought you were going to say like you nailed it.
Shoot,
like that was the
shoot and shoot, man. Like,
it's a bomb.
It's of an RPG shooting down Carl's idea, but I have not sent that in quite some time. We've been
no.
I feel like now what level we can.
Yeah. There's some dust on the RPG. You might have to
nice.
brush that off, buddy.
Can I steal that? Can I steal that to throw at Nate when he throws crazy shit at us?
Absolutely.
I love it, Nate. I love it all.
We got to take this to the next level, baby. And,
yeah, we're stealing all your ideas, band names. We're going to be the fat fucks now.
You guys want to hire us?
Yeah.
We don't have any money, guys. Sorry.
We'll work for lobster rolls.
Love that.
So I got to ask you guys, how fun is it to be Gridiron right now?
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
I feel like there's no pressure.
Awesome.
Like you said, Matt, the pressure's on you guys. Like it's like you're grown adults. Like you don't need a label. You really don't. But you have one that's supporting you, which is, maybe in this era is not as rare or predatory as maybe the mid 2000s or whatever. It's on your terms. So like, I would assume you're having a blast.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. There's no stress. Like we all have, jobs and, good jobs and stuff like that. So there's no pressure to like make this band happen. You know what I mean? We're all doing it because we love doing it and we want to do it. We're not forcing ourselves to do it. And everything about it is fun. And the moment that it stops being fun is the moment that probably will stop being a band, because that's the sole goal of this band, is to have a good time with my best friends.
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, it's fun to play with everybody because everyone's very proficient at their instruments. So I'm never worried not that I am in any of my bands, but never worried of like, oh, someone's gonna play this part wrong, or does he have this part? You know, it's just like, yep, we go up there, we have a good time, and then we just hang out. I'm like, I don't know what more I could possibly want out of life than that.
It's a dream.
Yeah,
it's rare.
Great.
Like honestly, like either you're a young guy and you're trying to make it, or you're an old guy and you don't have the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're kind of in that sweet spot.
Yeah, it feels good. None of it's by design, man. It's all a happy accident, but we definitely put in the work to make sure it stays fun and tries to be as stress-free as possible.
That's a great way to be, right? Like you're having fun with it. Keep having fun with it. If it stops being fun, okay, well, on to something different because we did what we could with that.
On to fat fuck.
Yeah, on to fat fuck, on to house money, right? I mean, let's go.
I'm stealing house money. That's mine. That's my shit.
Yeah. All right, let's talk shows real quick. I know right now we're gonna drop this probably at the end of your run with Sanguine Sugarbog and 200 Stab Wounds, but there's a couple of those shows left. So if you're in the area, check them out. That was awesome. I'm sure we'll we'll pretend like it was awesome because it was fun.
That was so much fun, dude. I could not.
Dude.
Yeah, I had the time of my life.
Dude, that shit that happened on the side stage. Fuck.
Yeah.
Many roller grill dogs at the gas station.
We ate so much food.
Yeah,
that's something that will
true.
be accurate.
No lobster rolls though. No lobster.
Yeah, you got to come up to Maine, man. Come on.
I want to.
All right, cool. We'll talk to Chris Lang because he's the one booking our area. So
there we go. Perfect.
But you get the CD release show. This will come out before that. So CD release show in Philly at where is it? That tell us about
the
that.
Church.
It's Saturday, June 7th at the Church. It's going to be awesome. It's our record release with us and Eternal Champion, which is like one of my favorite bands in the world. They just make me want to be a Viking and wear like chainmail to the Walmart.
Yes.
Then, so I guess at this point, when this comes out, Soulblind will be announced. You know, so Soulblind's playing, another band that I absolutely love, and it's just a really, really good mixed bill show, and I absolutely love mixed bill shows. You know, so that was something that we really set out to do with this lineup. And Fatal Realm, another band, just one of my favorite demos of the year, maybe my favorite demo of the year. Band's fucking awesome. Burning Lord, which is just like the perfect example of just like a regular ass hardcore band that does it perfect to a T. And then False Salvation, which is my boy Kev Hare's band, who's been like a pillar in Philadelphia hardcore for like 2 decades at this point, you know, so I'm really psyched that they're playing the show too.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm super pumped for it. And the Church is incredible. So we're gonna have a good time.
Best venue in the world.
Still haven't been. Never been.
Oh, June 7th or something.
I've only been to Philly once.
There
I
you
went
go.
to I think it was the old Philly Stadium. I went in like 1998 with like a little
Veteran
league team.
Stadium, the Vet.
Yeah,
I think so. And I actually, Matt, you'll love this. I signed up for a credit card when I was like 12 and got a Phillies bobblehead. I still have
that's
it.
awesome. They used to do that. I don't know if they don't really do that in the stadiums anymore.
no,
I
that's like
have
died.
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You just fill out fake shit, but I've gotten like Eagles flags from games and stuff where
There
you
you go.
sign
You
up
can
for a
relate.
credit card.
Dude, we gotta do bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a great idea. I'm imagining like loading it in like we have it on tour. We have a bunch of bobbleheads.
We've come up with some really good ideas tonight, boys.
I'm
I'm just saying.
gonna talk to you
Dude.
guys like every week, and then I'll just be stuck on ideas for a while.
This is what we do weekly. This is what we do.
If you
We'll be
give us
consultants.
if you give us fat fucks, it's a deal, dude.
Okay.
Oh man! And then you do have another show June 21st with Never Ending Game. Will pulling double duty. Good luck. I'm sure that's a lot of work in Rutherford with Incendiary too, right?
Yeah, Incendiary
Yeah.
playing that one. That one's gonna be awesome. We played there with Trapped Under Ice in between Christmas and New Year's, and it was an incredible show. Shout out our boy
It was
Greg.
awesome.
Takedown up there, Dylan. So it was awesome. So I'm super excited to play there again. Great lineup. Obviously, love all the bands on that one. Shout out the boys in Incendiary. We have a good time in the green room. We let the bottle flow for
Nice,
sure.
nice,
Oh, good
nice.
to know, yeah.
Yeah, we're fans. We know.
Yeah, we
Well, I don't
we
know
had-
about that, but I know.
I mean,
we don't
I mean,
know, but we know.
we know. We think we know. I mean, we drank during the interview, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Brendan on early in the pod, and then we had Dan on before their last record.
Hell
So,
yeah.
love those guys. Those guys are great.
Oh, they're the best. When we
Yeah,
played
they're
New
all-
York, when did we play New York, Carl? Was that a couple months ago now? I think
Yeah.
February, something.
Yeah.
We went out after, and I slept for 40 minutes, and then went to LaGuardia, and I was eating a Wendy's breakfast baconator, watching this rainfall airport, and really just questioning all my life decisions.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Furnace Fest, right?
Furnace Fest, Sam.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we got that coming up as well in the fall. So a lot of good shit coming up. And I'm sure there'll be some other things that get announced over the next few months throughout the summer. So we're just trying to strike while the iron's hot, while the record's out, play out there as much as we can, and have a great summer. It'll be fun to just be playing new songs, man. That's mainly what I'm so pumped on.
Yeah, my thing I'm most excited for about this new record is changing the set list.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And then maybe Maine in July. Who knows, right? And Lobster Roll, Sea Dogs games. We'll hang out. We'll do it big. We'll do it big.
So Will and Matt, we probably interviewed 150 bands. Most you leave a bigger fan. Some you're like, I think I'm less of a fan. Guys, I might be the biggest Gridiron fan.
Let's go.
I'm the biggest Gridiron fan in Maine, I think.
Well,
sure.
you got to compete with Will's mom. So
yeah, you got to comment on the Facebook.
I'm gonna start posting stuff on Facebook like a mom.
You have to post, like my mom, a selfie of you with the TV behind you, and it's a pause of the music video with me on it. Like this.
Hashtag proud parent.
That is the Sunday before this episode drops. I'm posting that. I'm gonna do that, and people won't know it, but you guys will get it, but nobody else will fucking know.
That's pulling a nice 7 likes on Instagram for sure.
Yep. Got 2
great.
right here. So
Right.
This is the pulse of the fat fucks.
Yes. All right, boys. We really appreciate your time tonight. Had a blast chatting. Excited for the new record. Excited for the shows.
Oh yeah.
Excited for all things Gridiron coming up.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us, guys.
55 minutes went incredibly quick. That could have been.
go.
Felt like 5 seconds.
Well, that was side A. Side B is coming.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I took a little nap today. I'm good to go.
That was an all-time combo. We had a blast.
Thank
we really
you.
did.
Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast, YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.
You're on the bench, we in the trench, baby. This is what we do.
Yes. Nate's got nothing.
It stumped me. I can't top that.
Yeah.
Too good.
All right, let's pick it up. Let's pick it up. Do you want me to say that again and get a natural reaction?
No. No, I think this all goes to the end of the episode. No.
All right, there you go.